This Can-N air intake system is designed to increase power and acceleration by reducing restriction in the intake path. Can-N's 77-9037 KP air intake fits 2012 and 2013 Toyota Tacoma models with 4-liter engines. The 77-9037 KP has a low restriction metal tube with a chrome-like finish, and the intake comes with Can-N's famous million-mile limited warranty. It is not legal for highway use in California or other states adopting California emission standards. Check knfilters.com for an up-to-date list of models this air intake fits and for a list of other CARB adoption states. Can-N power testing showed an estimated power gain of 7.5 horsepower at 4,976 RPM with the 77-9037 KP air intake installed on a 2012 Toyota Tacoma with a 4-liter engine. Actual results will vary depending on the condition of the vehicle, mileage, weather, and other variables. With the air intake installed, we ran the vehicle on the dyno to test the sound comparison versus the stock intake. The intake system includes components that have been designed or matched to the needs of these vehicles to produce a safe horsepower increase. Detailed installation instructions are included with this kit. The tools needed for this install are shown. Turn off the ignition and disconnect the negative battery cable. Remove the 2 nuts which secure the engine cover, then lift off the engine cover. Release the spring clamp securing the secondary air hose to the union on the engine. Then disconnect the secondary air hose. Remove the 3 bolts securing the secondary air pump. Then disconnect the electrical connection and remove the secondary air pump from the engine compartment. Loosen the hose clamp securing the intake tube to the air filter housing. Remove the 2 bolts securing the intake resonator to the inner fender. Then remove the intake tube resonator assembly from the engine compartment. Loosen the hose clamp securing the intake hose to the throttle body. Release the spring clamp securing the crankcase vent hose, then disconnect the crankcase vent hose. Disconnect the mass air sensor electrical connection and unhook the wiring harness from the air filter housing. Remove the 2 bolts securing the air filter housing to the engine. Then remove the air filter housing from the engine. Install the provided 8mm rubber mounted stud into the intake resonator mounting location. Install the 2 remaining 6mm rubber mounted studs into the secondary air injection pump mounting locations. Install the provided edge trim onto the heat shield. Some trimming of the edge trim will be necessary. Install the filter adapter into the heat shield and secure it with the provided hardware. Install the heat shield mounting bracket onto the heat shield using the provided hardware. Set the heat shield into position on the rubber mounted studs, then secure it with the provided hardware. Install the provided secondary air pump mounting bracket onto the inner fender using the provided hardware. The nut and washer will be accessed from the underside of the fender. Remove the power steering reservoir mounting bolt. Install the provided secondary air pump mounting bracket onto the power steering reservoir using the bolt from the previous step. Separate the secondary air pump motor from the mounting bracket. Install the secondary air pump onto the brackets previously installed and secure it with the provided hardware. Reconnect the secondary air hose to the fitting and secure it with the factory spring clamp. Route the secondary air wiring harness through the heat shield and reconnect the electrical connection. Install the provided silicone hose onto the throttle body and secure it with the provided hose clamp. Install the provided silicone hose onto the filter adapter and secure it with the provided hose clamp. Install the provided vent fittings into the Can-N air intake tube. Remove the 2 screws securing the mass air sensor into the air filter housing. Then remove the mass air sensor from the housing. Install the mass air sensor into the Can-N intake tube and secure it with the provided hardware. Install the K&N intake tube into the silicone hose at the filter adapter, far enough to gain clearance into the silicone hose at the throttle body. Then install the tube into the throttle body silicone hose and secure it with the provided hose clamps. Do not completely tighten at this time. Connect a crankcase vent hose to the fitting installed into the K&N intake tube. Connect the provided fuel pressure vent hose to the fuel pressure regulator. Then connect the open end to the fitting installed into the K&N intake tube. Reconnect the mass air sensor electrical connection. Remove the engine cover mounting stud from the factory air filter housing. Install the engine cover mounting stud into the K&N intake tube. Install the engine cover and secure it with the factory retaining nuts. Adjust the K&N intake tube as necessary so that the stud is in the proper location for the cover. Then, tighten the hose clamp securing the intake tube. Install the K&N air filter and secure it with the provided hose clamp. Reconnect the vehicle's negative battery cable. Double check to make sure everything is tight and properly positioned before starting the vehicle. It will be necessary for all K&N high-flow air intake systems to be checked periodically for realignment, clearance, and tightening of all connections. Failure to follow the above instructions or proper maintenance may void warranty. K&N makes products for nearly every vehicle on the road. The K&N website allows you to search products by vehicle or dimension, download installation instructions, view dyno charts showing estimated horsepower gains for this product, and view product details. For information on where to buy K&N products, go to knfilters.com.